Cruelty Squad is a game that I'm sure you already know almost everything about if you clicked on this video. It just has that effect on people, and there's no way to stop it once you've already fallen down the rabbit hole, which is why I know that even though you already know everything in this video, you're gonna watch it to the end anyway. In case you're my mother, however, there might be some explaining necessary. Cruelty Squad is a game that released in 2021 by Consumer Soft Products, a fake company that only has one employee, the reserved and enigmatic Ville Kallio.
The apartment atrocity level, there's the Twin Towers.
I didn't even know, what the fuck, really?
It's just in the background.
As the result of a single person's creative vision, completely unfiltered by any respect for censors or basic game design principles, the game is exceptionally esoteric and incomprehensible. The process of learning how to play Cruelty Squad is a process of trial and error, as there isn't any way to learn any of the game's mechanics without seeing them happen naturally as a result of your own attention to detail. For instance, let's take a look at weapons. You start with 4, but 2 of them are blocked off and can't be clicked because they're automatically equipped, and you can only learn that by unequipping them. To get new items, you need to finish a level with a given weapon in one of your 2 weapon slots, and the only way you find out that you actually got the weapon is just by seeing it appear in your weapons list. No pop-up explaining you got a new weapon or explanation of why you got the new weapon, nor any reason to think to take a weapon out of the level with you if you didn't already know this was a mechanic. Additionally, the game has a famously abrasive and acidic visual style, resulting in basically any look at the game from an outside perspective being utter bewilderment. For another mechanic, and the actual subject of this video, we might take a look at the difficulty system. Your difficulty is shown to you by the frames surrounding the game, a permanent watermark that can't be removed and makes the game really difficult to edit without being jarring. Cruelty Squad has 4 difficulties represented by its 4 frames. You start on the Divine Light difficulty, but get forced to lower difficulties if you die too many times. Each difficulty, aside from one, has difficulty-specific doors, making the player have to stay on whatever difficulty they're on if they want to find all the secrets. If you are able to maintain Divine Light difficulty by not dying a single time, you can open one Divine Light door in the first level, Pharmacokinetics, which introduces the concept that there might be goodies behind these doors, as it holds a rocket launcher and a money pickup. This is built upon in the second level when a Divine Light door leads to a secret level, and then it disappears as a mechanic until the third to last level where it also leads to a secret level. Hope Eradicated, which is itself a secret higher difficulty only found by using a very obscure unlockable in a very obscured place or by knowing about a schizophrenic programmer from the 2000s.
The 640 by 480 is very definitely deliberate by God. That's the founding principle is 640 by 480.
Leads to some secret doors. One to another area in Pharmacokinetics that has the game's only permanent character upgrade, one to the game's first secret ending, and one to a room I can't show if I want people with flashing light sensitivity to watch this video. And then there's the lowest difficulty, Power in Misery, only achieved after dying 4 consecutive times in a single level. This opens 1 door in the entire game, and it is also located in Pharmacokinetics, right next to the Hope Eradicated door. Behind it isn't a secret level, a secret ending, or a secret weapon, just one NPC in one room. He has a completely unique face model, unlike most NPCs. This room is disgusting. The walls coated with flesh and skin, pulsing. The person here lives in the most disgusting environment and doesn't even look human.
Oh, hey there. I can see that they got to you too. Honestly, it's not so bad. Always good to have more options for nutrition. You end up saving a lot of money. Reversing the process sounds unlikely. Stay as long as you want. As far as I'm concerned, we're family.
I suppose some explanation is in order. The 4 difficulties of Cruelty Squad are directly entwined with the game's narrative, in a way that is wholly unique and uniquely opaque. Divine Light is exactly what it sounds like. When you begin the game, you are imbued with life, a light inside your soul from divine origin. The Christian symbolism in Cruelty Squad, of course, cannot be overlooked, unless by a godless sodomite such as myself, as it is replaced upon first death. This is the only difficulty in the game in which you are truly human, and you have a soul. The game takes place thousands of years in the future, with a history identical to our own. But in Cruelty Squad's cyberpunk dystopia, death is merely a roadblock. It costs a measly $500 in medical bills, to have your entire body reconstructed in the reconstruction machine. However, anyone who undergoes this process loses their divine light, their soul. When you die for the first time, you are dropped to the middle difficulty and take half damage, being unable to access the secret doors that are unfit for a mortal being such as yourself. You are not human. In the words of the game, you are a flesh automaton animated by neurotransmitters. An automaton, a replica of a human being made of flesh instead of metal, animated by neurotransmitters, which is how humans are animated. You are a replica of human that has literally all of the same stuff, but you can never be a human because you don't have a soul. Once you die 4 times on this difficulty, you unlock the easiest difficulty, Power in Misery, which has the same damage values as the previous difficulty, except when you die, you don't have to pay for medical bills. And you can eat corpses to regain health. No longer an automaton, you are a bizarre, fleshy being, not even resembling a human. This is what the unique NPC in the flesh room was. Quote, due to your hogging of the genetic recombinator, you have been selected to participate in an experimental biological enhancement program. All your debt is cleared, and from now on, your body will regenerate by itself. Can't say I envy you, though. Health in Cruelty Squad is hard to come by. You can spend a lot of money for the option to have a one-time healing item, or you can find pizza and soda lying around the level, and that's it, making the cannibalism have a significant impact on the way you experience the game. Or it would if you didn't only regain 1 health per corpse. A single enemy attack will do at least 10 or so damage. This mechanic can barely ever actually meaningfully help the player, and if it does, it will undoubtedly be because of the indiscriminate slaughter of civilians in crowded spaces. I'm not here to discuss the Power in Misery mode, though. I'm here to discuss how this one interaction reflects the difficulty, and how the difficulty reflects the entire game's mission statement. Cruelty Squad is a satirical cyberpunk dystopia story in which our unnamed protagonist serves as a slave to corporations, being sent to die so he can repay his debt before having to pay for the cost of him dying. And it ends with killing God. That's the first ending. The secret ending represents something much more significant, in which he kills his own boss, becoming the CEO of the company he worked for. Then, the second secret ending, actually becoming God and having a great monologue for auditioning in the school play. I didn't get the part. Of course, when our protagonist becomes God, he decides to wipe the world clean and restart it from scratch, cleansing everything in a metaphorical flood. But there is no Noah and there is no Ark. The entire world is so full of sin that not even a single being can be redeemed or build anew. The message is clear as the game gets more and more significantly weird. As the game delves deeper and deeper into secrets outside the bounds of the game world, game design seeping into the menus, the game gets less and less satirical and far more pointed and explicit in its criticisms of our current world through the lens of a fictitious one. Because that's what satire is. The Power in Misery door is probably the first secret that literally any player would find. It's right in the first level, a first level that most players will certainly die on more than 4 times if it's their first time through. I know I certainly did, even having already seen several video essays and reviews. This is the first piece of optional content most players will ever see, and the only NPC they'll talk to in the first level that isn't a target. Still though, it's very deliberately easily missed. The shape of the building this room is located in, hiding the door's position as you exit the level, and there's no reason for the player to think that being on the lowest difficulty would make this door open, aside from the texture being kinda similar to the border. On any difficulty other than Power and Misery, it simply reads, "It repulses you," compared to Divine Light doors without a soul, where it reads, "It feels like something is missing," or any door that isn't a Hope Eradicated door on Hope Eradicated. "It hurts, it 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 hurts." The game's meta-narrative, in which the player progresses and gets more and more powerful, also has the player get more and more morally righteous, justifies this. Kind of. It's really only breaking out of the final level, literally named Trauma Loop, at which point the game becomes less overtly hostile. In the shared language of video game tropes in which lower difficulties are demerits, for those too weak for the actual challenge, playing in Power and Misery is, on its own, a punishment for the player, not helped by the handler mocking you. You can't change the difficulty without being good enough at the game to prove you can, having to finish a level on punishment difficulty. Your punishment for the sin of allowing yourself to fall into such a depraved state, and only through suffering and punishment can you be cleansed. This is a very specific interpretation of Christianity that is almost entirely absent within the United States, but pretty common around the rest of the world. Ville Kallio is from Finland, where the majority of residents are members of the Lutheran Church of Finland. Redemption only through suffering is a perspective that I never understood. I personally was raised in the Christian sect of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so I could be completely wrong about all of this Christianity stuff. Cannibalism is the only way that the lowest difficulty lets you recover health, because it is, in and of itself, understood to be a shameful, disgusting act done out of desperation, at least to straight people. This singular door and singular NPC represent the deepest depths of the game, the lowest our protagonist can get in the story of a rise to prominence. This is their rock bottom, when the forces of capitalism have taken everything from you. Your life, your soul, your dignity, your own body, the only thing you have now that you didn't before, the only consolation, a single hidden NPC who tells you that there is probably nothing better than this. You should be grateful for where you are. Capitalism will grind you down and tell you to be grateful for your place at the bottom of the pyramid, endlessly serving corporations. But this also acts as motivation. We are supposed to be disgusted by this NPC, his unique melty face model, and his house constructed of pulsating meat, using this as an example of everything we don't want to be, inspiring us to move up. Kill this target so we can kill the next, so we can get into a party where we can kill billionaires, so we can have enough of a safety net to kill our boss, real-life millionaire Elizabeth Holmes, who was also the developer's profile pic. Sorry, Elsa Holmes, my bad, completely different person, because incitement to violence of real-life humans would be a liability to the developers. Ignore that. So that we can kill God, so that we can kill our actual boss, so we can kill the entirety of the universe. This one NPC that most players will miss perfectly encapsulates every part of Cruelty Squad. Its worldview, its style, its politics, its meta-narrative, and above all else, its cryptic nature. He is one of the only people in the entire game that is nice to the player, as every other random NPC interaction tells us to leave them alone or doesn't even acknowledge our existence. This man is nice to us. God, that's pathetic. This world really is beyond saving. Maybe if we didn't take notes from this guy, we would end up like every other NPC who isn't even given a name. When the beat drops, I'm going to fucking kill myself.